Well, good afternoon, my friends, and welcome back. Cumberland Outdoorsman out here after work, just doing a little bit of plinking with my Remington 581. This is kind of a kick-around little rifle, one that I fixed up from several years ago. I just cleaned it up. It had some rust on it, but it's one of those rifles that you keep in your truck, or you keep it, next to the kitchen door for varmints, things like that. And it's just a good shooter and very dependable. But I refinished that stock because it was badly beaten up, and it turned out to be a pretty nice little gun. Anyway, speaking of refinishing stocks, this afternoon when I came home, there was a package waiting for me, and my good friend Wayne Jenkins has a stock he wants me to refinish. So let's open this package here. I'll pan down here to it. We'll get it opened up here. Move my rifle out of the way here. And I'm really curious to see how well it arrived. Okay, there's an envelope with some instructions here, I believe. But anyway, I'll look at that later. I'm really curious to see what condition this stock is in. Well, it's definitely all in one piece here. I'll have to save all this packaging material to send it back to him once I get done with it. Okay. Well, there it is, folks. It's a Remington 541S stock. And it's got some dings in it, nothing too bad. Butt plate's in good shape. Fore end tip is in real good shape. Yep. Well, it's in need of some TLC. I've got this stock and I've got another one from another friend of mine that I'll be refinishing. The only real bad place I see is right here at the fore end tip, but I think I can straighten that out okay and preserve the checkering at the same time. I don't personally own a 541S, but there are some fine rifles, and eventually I'll get one on this channel that I can review for you. So I just wanted you to see the stock before I got started on it. It's been used, most certainly. So follow along if you want to refinish your rifle stock, and I'll show you step by step how to get a good glassy finish. Well guys, I know this video is a little bit dark because it's getting kind of late. Today my grandson and I spent most of the day from early this morning trying to get on a turkey. It's turkey season, but they just weren't gobbling today. And we went all over the country looking for one. Just could not get it done. Could not strike one up. And it's something that those of you that turkey hunt know, something that we experience every year. There's just some days that go by you don't hear anything. They're just not talking. So I went and laid down for a while and got rested up. I was just beat. And this evening I'm out here working on this gun stock for my friend Wayne, trying to get the old finish stripped off, as you can see here. I started working on the fore end here, and then I'm hitting the back of the stock here to try to get all the dents out. as you can see, I'll give you a close-up. There you can see these dents where I've gone over it with some paper, and it makes it really apparent. Now, one thing, if you're going to do this is kind of a how-to video. Make sure you don't sand through the checkering. You know, don't destroy the checkering. Try to be careful and sand around it as much as you possibly can. Even though I'm going to go back in and sharpen all these diamonds back up. You know, I've got checkering tools, and I'll go over the checkering pattern after I get the gun stock completely finished. Now I get this whole finish off here, I'll go back in and really go over the wood and try to get all the little dents and dings out of it. And I'll go over it with some real fine sandpaper down to about 320 grit or so. And then I'll start applying some true oil after I mask off all of the checkering panels and any place where I don't want the true oil to coat, you know. I'll mask all that off. But for now, the main task is getting this off. Now, once I get down to the wood and I get ready to sand it down and get a real nice fine surface on there, I'll be back with you. Well guys, here we are about 2 weeks later, and I went ahead and took the liberty of finish sanding this stock for this Model 541S, and I actually had to go back and rechecker some of the panels right here and right here. And if the wood looks darker, there's a reason for that. And what I went ahead and did is I took it down to about 300 grit, and then I sealed it with linseed, which is something I got from Brownells years ago. I put 2 pretty heavy coats of linseed on here to seal the stock up, make sure it's waterproof. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply some true oil. And the checkering on this gun, I had to redo this panel and this panel because I kind of messed up trying to rechecker and sharpen up the diamonds before, so I just went ahead and sanded it down and copied the panel on this side and put it on this side, you know, to match it up. And this is 20 lines per inch. But I went ahead and sealed the checkering panels too while I was at it. So now we'll go ahead and apply this true oil, and what I do is I just dip my finger in it and just rub it on my hand like that. And I put it on pretty heavy for the first few coats, because once I get it really sealed up good, I'm going to go ahead and mask off the checkering panels and then put the finishing touches on it by applying several coats of this true oil. And the key thing to this true oil is make sure that you let the stock completely dry between coats. You don't want to keep adding to it while it's still tacky. You know, you want to make sure that each coat is dry, and that's really important later on because we're going to be wet sanding the stock as well with real fine sandpaper, wet or dry. And that'll give us a nice glossy finish. But I'm going to go ahead and put a good coat of this on here and then wait maybe a day or so for this coat to dry before I apply another. I want to fill in all of the grain, you know. This stock here is particularly dark. This is a nice piece of black walnut. And I just love that dark black walnut color of these traditional stocks. Just something classy about it. Some stocks are not quite as dark as this. They're lighter in color, but this one here has a really nice dark chocolate brown color to it. And this true oil really brings the grain of the wood out. I'll tell you what, it makes it look gorgeous. No wonder this is one of America's favorite 22 rimfires. They were just really classy. And you know, that's another thing I wanted to illustrate is when you're sanding down the finish off these stocks, if you want to refinish it, make sure you don't destroy the classic lines. You know, make sure that everything stays the same as when the gun was new. You don't want to dull the edges. You want everything to stay nice and crisp and, you know, nice and sharp. There you can see the grain of that wood starting to come out. Nice, rich, deep brown color. Just absolutely gorgeous. So anyway, folks, now that I've got it rubbed down with this coat here, I'm going to set it aside and let it cure up. And in the next step, we're going to go ahead and mask all these checkering panels. And maybe after 2 coats or so, I'm going to wet sand it and then go over it again. That takes all the little imperfections and high spots out of it, and you start to get that nice smooth glossy finish on there. Okay folks, as you can see, I've got all the checkering panels masked off, and I've got about 5 coats of true oil on here since I applied that first coat. Now what I'm going to do is wet sand it with some 600 grit wet or dry. I just got this at Walmart, and they've made it a blue type of wet or dry paper. It used to be black, and I guess you can still get the black, but they say this is actually improved. So what I do is I soak my paper in the water, and let me pan down here and show you how I do this. What I want to do is get all the little imperfections out of this finish now that all the pores are filled, and I just go over it with this paper. Make sure it's wet, and you'll know that the finish is ready to be sanded after about 2 days of letting it dry and cure, and you get this sort of white powdery slurry when you're sanding it. If you sand it when it's still kind of gummy, you're going to end up with a mess. So make sure you let it dry thoroughly between coats. We just want to get all the little imperfections out. Don't apply a lot of pressure. Just go over it nice and even. Easy strokes. I'm just trying to get a nice smooth surface. And you can feel that as you go, you know. If there's any runs or any bumps in it, you'll be able to feel it. There's a little bit of a run right there. So we'll just go over that I applied it on there a little bit heavy because I really want to fill these pores up. This is how you get a nice custom finish right here. Be careful when you get around the edges. Don't go over it too much because you'll get back down into the bare wood. You don't want that. See how that's kind of a white slurry there? That's coming off in a powder actually, and the powder is suspended in that water. The water keeps your paper from getting gummed up. I'm going to go over the whole stock and then I'll wash it off with clean water, let it dry, and then we'll apply a real thin sheen of True Oil. Okay guys, I went over the whole stock with that wet or dry and then I washed it off. And now what I do is I go over the whole stock, and if there are any places that I've missed where there might be a little bit of a run, like right there, just a slight little bit right there, I can kind of feel that with the tip of my finger. And then right there, there's a spot right there. Just a few places here and there, you know. All this looks pretty good right here. And it'll have kind of a dull, hazy look to it after you get done sanding it, but it'll feel really smooth. And the next coat of True Oil that goes on here will be really, really thin. You'll see what I'm talking about. So let me go ahead and hit some of these spots here. Make sure we don't miss anything. I don't want any imperfections in this stock. Go through all this work, we want it to look right. Don't worry too much about the checkering panels because you can always go over it later after you remove the tape, which you're going to have to anyway because some of the tape will inevitably stick to the checkering. So we'll chase all the lines again once I get done here. Hit these little spots here. And you can feel it if it's gone. That feels totally smooth now. It doesn't take a lot. You know, you don't want to keep sanding and go all the way through. There's a little bitty spot. There's a little place right there. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this off and get ready to put on a real thin coat of True Oil. Okay guys, now that I've got this stock prepped for the final finishes, I went ahead and installed something so that I can hold on to the stock without touching it. So I put this dowel pin through the bolt hole here just to hold it for the time being. And we'll go ahead and get a little bit of this True Oil out. And we'll start at the tip and work our way down. Put just a little bit on the end of your finger, just a tad. Just enough to make it kind of wet. You'll be surprised how much just that little bit will cover. And just rub it in nice and even. Same with the other side. Make sure you don't leave any bare spots. Try to cover everything. Remember, the thinner the coat, the finer the finish. If you slop it on there, it's going to turn out sloppy. You just want a nice thin sheen of this stuff. Because it covers rather quickly. These thin coats like this also will keep the finish from running, okay? Okay, now we'll let that harden and dry. And then we'll put on maybe one more coat, lightly wet sand it again, and then put our final finish on there, and we should be good to go. Well, my friends, I think I've got this stock ready to send back to my friend Wayne, and I'm rather pleased with the final outcome, I think, and I hope he will be too. But what I did since the last filming, the previous filming, I applied 2 more coats, very thin, let them completely harden, and then I lightly went over it with 600 grit wet or dry with water and the paper. And then I cleaned it off very well, you know, just completely washed the stock, and then I let it dry thoroughly. And then I removed all of the masking from the checkering panels. And then I put 2 more very thin coats of True Oil on there to get a glass-like sheen on this stock. And this is what I ended up with, folks. As you can see, we got a nice smooth surface. And now remember, I did not use any wood dye at all on this stock. This is the natural color of this stock. This is black walnut or American walnut. Just a beautiful, rich, dark color. Came out really nice, I think. Just great color in that stock. Very deep. And on this side here, I had to redo the checkering on the left side because I was touching up all the diamonds here, and I messed up because I used a 1 in 18 spaceline cutter, and I should have used a 1 in 20, so I had to go back with a 1 in 20 and reapply this checkering. So, you know, I had to completely rechecker both panels on the left side. But either way, I think I got it ready to put back together, and I'm sure my friend is eager to get his rifle back together because these are great shooting rifles. The Remington Model 540 and 580 series rifles, as you well know, are very accurate, and the 541S is probably the nicest version of that entire line, and they're legendary for their accuracy. I mean, pinpoint accuracy. They'll outshoot a lot of other rifles, including any new rifles coming out right now. You know, they would hold their own against a lot of different rifles. And you know, with a good scope, if the gun's been taken care of, it's a wonderful model to have in your collection.
Good afternoon. My name is Wayne Jenkins, and I'm coming to you today from Chesterfield, Virginia. I decided to make a short video to show the unboxing and reassembly of a rifle that I had just recently sent to stock to Tom Payne, who's a Cumberland outdoorsman, has a YouTube video channel, and he offered to refinish his stock for me. Earlier this year, I bought a rifle that I've been looking for a long time. It was a Remington 541S Custom Sporter. It was made in 1973, and it had been used pretty heavily, I guess. The stock had a lot of little blemishes and all in it. So when I told Tom about it, he offered to refinish the stock for me. You know, on his channel, he features a lot of 22 rimfire videos that cover various models of rifles, and especially vintage 22 rifles. And I certainly thought this gun is just an excellent shooter, very accurate, and I thought it would certainly be worth having the stock refinished and kind of save this old gun. It's a real jewel. So anyway, I shipped it to him, the stock, on April the 20th, and I received it back today. Today is June the 3rd. I've been very excited and anticipating the getting this back. So I'm making this video for Tom, and I think he plans to incorporate it in with a video that he made when he actually refinished the stock. He does a lot of instructional videos, and he does excellent work. It's just amazed at how innovative and creative he is when it comes to working on these old vintage firearms, and especially the refinishing work that he does. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this and let everybody see it, and then I'm gonna go ahead and reassemble it. I have the action right here. So let me get it out of here first and try to take a look at this. It's like a little boy on Christmas morning. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Is that beautiful or what? I have no doubt this stock looks better than it did the day it came out of the Remington factory. Let me walk around and get a little better close-up view of it. But it's the finish is just superb, and the checkering has been completely redone. It's 20 line per inch hand-cut checkering, and again, I have the action here, so I'm not going to bore you with that. I'm going with the reassembly of it. Okay, we're back online. It's all reassembled. Look at this beauty. I couldn't be more pleased. Like I said, I've been a lifelong hunter and target shooter. This is probably the most accurate .22 rifle I've ever shot. I thought the metal on it is in exceptional shape for its age, but it's absolutely beautiful. Tom has outdone himself on this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off now, and I'll send this footage back to him, and I can't thank him enough for what he's done. It's a beautiful job. I encourage you to subscribe to his channel. It's again, it's the Cumberland Outdoorsman, and he does a lot of videos featuring different outdoor activities, fishing, hunting, firearms accuracy testing, wide variety of things. I think the favorite part for me is his .22 rimfire series. He really has a thing for the .22 rifles and handguns as well, and I can say I'm a loyal follower of his, so I encourage you to subscribe to his channel. There's a lot of good, useful information there. And again, beautiful job, and my thanks to Tom for being willing to do this for me.
So folks, let me just say that I appreciate you coming along, and if you want good results like this, just practice patience. Make sure you sand all the scratches and dings out of it, and then in between coats, let each coat thoroughly dry before you move to the next step. Don't get in a hurry and try to sand on the stock when the coats aren't fully dry, because you'll get gummy results and you'll mess it up. Let them completely dry, and then go over it lightly and just add real thin coats each time, and you'll get a beautiful stock just like I did. So thanks a lot for coming along. I do appreciate you watching. Hopefully you found this useful. And remember, if you like to go hunting, fishing, camping, shooting, hiking, no matter what your outdoor pursuit happens to be, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. But also remember this: hit that like button, smash the bell icon, and subscribe. That way you'll know when more videos like this one will be coming your way. So until next time, this is the Cumberland Outdoorsman wishing you well. Y'all get out there and enjoy the great outdoors. I'll be seeing you.